Hi, and welcome to the Zen Supermom podcast. The episode today is an interview with a supermom who just finished the Zen Supermom program, and after 4 months, she is ready to fly solo. So, how did someone who called herself a control freak, who was not even that much yelling but stressing, and feeling that anger in her whenever her little two kids were doing something that was out of her plan, that was crossing her plans. So then she was taking it out on her husband, that anger. She didn't yell at them, but she took that anger out on him. How did she manage to turn it around in 3-4 months? And how come she's ready to go now? She's ready to leave and take care of herself. She doesn't need any more support, any more sessions, any more coaching. She is ready to continue practicing and be by herself. So how did she do that? This is an inspiration for you. If you're thinking that 3 or 4 months of any program is too good to be true, that it's too fast to work in a long term, then come and listen. Hi, Julia.
Hi.
Thank you for accepting the invitation for the Zen Supermom podcast, because we just did your final bonus consultation after finishing the Zen Supermom program just a few days ago before you got sick. So
Yes.
thank you for being here, even though your voice is not fully healed.
Mhm.
But your story was so amazing, because basically what you told me in that final consultation was like, 3-4 months later, I'm ready to fly solo. I don't need any more
Yeah.
help. Thank you very much. So I was like, oh my goodness, we just need to bring your story to the world and to all of the moms. So thank you so much for your
Mhm.
courage and for a big heart to share your story with other moms who need to hear that.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, so let's start at the beginning. If you would share like what kind of mom you are, if you want to share like how many kids you have, what is their age, and anything about your like family setup that you feel comfortable sharing, just so that moms can think about like, yeah, that's similar like me, or no, that's different.
Yeah, sure. So I'm a mom of two daughters, and they are 4 and 1, and we are a mixed family in terms of internationality and living in a third country. So lots of unfamiliar places, and it can get quite lonely sometimes because we don't have our immediate family and closest friends from back home here with us.
Yeah, or any support like grandparents or family
No,
members on a standby
nope,
if kids
nope,
get sick
nope,
or anything. No, it's
no.
just you. Yeah, excellent. Very good. And then what is it? What is it that you were struggling with when you found me? Because there was something about it. There was something deeply painful enough for you to decide, like, I need help and I need to change. So, what was it for you?
It was this feeling of anger inside here, and I watched well, firstly, you found me in a moment that was just weird. Like 2 times I scrolled on Instagram just after an episode of this anger coming, and there your video came. And you said all the things that were like, oh God, what kind of mom am I? Yes, I really need this. Yes, I should do something because I don't want to feel angry with my kids, with myself. I wasn't really yelling. Like sometimes I do raise my voice, but I'm not. So my issue wasn't about like lashing out on them, but it was because I stopped it before that. But it was still that feeling that got me to a point that if it wasn't my kids, I would lash out at them. It's just that they're too tiny and too innocent to lash out on. So I got it most often unloaded onto my husband. But still the feeling was there. And it's also not right to do it on my husband. So the mix of the feelings of anger, um, the kind of feeling paralyzed by this and not knowing, not having any tools at my disposal to deal with it and to do it the right way. Um, yeah, so that's what I wanted to get rid of and wanted to let go of.
Yeah. And did you already try anything before to get help with that anger and with these emotions that you just couldn't keep inside?
Not really. Like I did, I do know some issues or baggages that I have that I wanted to heal. So I did therapy, but it wasn't really focused. Like I never actually did anything with this anger thing. I just thought it's normal.
Yeah, exactly. And so then talking about therapy, and you never did it for this because so you had you had a happy childhood, you had happy teenage years, like a normal.
Yeah, yes. But there were some things that I feel I still, I think I attached lots of emotions to certain things, and it's those repetitive tiny things you call the death by the thousand paper cuts. Um, which, yes, overall, I always describe my childhood as happy, and yeah, I didn't have any kind of big trauma of sorts. It's the small things and the everyday kind of little things that added up to something that led to me being how I am. So I did therapy on that, but I didn't relate it at all to this kind of anger in these kind of situations, or there was a conflict.
Yeah. So in those moments when you felt the anger coming up, how did that make you feel? You know how I'm always asking at the beginning, like the trigger, and how does that make you feel? Like, was it not heard, not listened to, not respected, not good enough? What
Yeah,
was it
all
for
of
you?
those things, all of those things, I think. Just the control, like to me, the not being in control of things is the biggest one. Um, so like, we made a plan that, I don't know, you go wash your teeth and then you go to bed, and that's the plan. So how can it not happen? Like the plan has planned it out. It really should go according to plan, and it really bothers me if it doesn't. Even tiny, tiny, tiny things. So yeah, there came the anger.
Yeah. And so did you, because you were saying you didn't yell that much, and especially not at your kids, but then at your poor husband. So were you the mom on the other side of the extreme, like the mom who's always saying things like 1,000 times nicely, trying to avoid any conflict, feeling responsible for making your kids happy, trying to say it like, yeah, nice, not to yell? Or
Well,
how did the
not
control
now,
show up?
no. So it's just inside mostly. So I'm saying, and I lose it sometimes, and I just leave, or I do like. So I do teach. I hope through these I do teach valuable lessons of how you handle anger and how you handle when something doesn't go your way. So I try and do like, mommy feels angry now, like I'm really angry. Or yeah, but inside it's not like it's not in line, or not the kind of right ratio in a way, and right weight of it. It's yeah, disproportional to the situation. Like it cannot affect that she doesn't brush her teeth when I want it, shouldn't make me feel like I could literally yell the whole world off. So it just felt like there is a huge imbalance between what's happening and what's my inner reaction.
Yeah.
Even though potentially I can handle it well, but inside it just didn't feel right. And I really needed all my strength to not yell, for example.
I can only imagine how like energy draining that must have been, like to stop
Yes.
that big anger for, yeah, not
Mm.
brushing teeth. Yeah. Excellent. Very good. Thank you for sharing, because this is usually like, I bet a lot of moms will be able to relate to that. That's why I'm saying excellent, but I understand that like that's super painful situation, but
Mm.
that's perfectly in line with what all of the moms who are coming to me for help, how they are feeling. So this is exactly what they need to hear. Like, you're not alone, you're not the only
Mm.
one. And for some moms it's about controlling the situation, for some moms it's about running late, or the kids are too noisy, or what were other situations for you, Julia? You remember?
Oh yeah, I also have when I'm trying to put the small one to sleep, and the big one is on a contrary opinion. Um or when we have to leave, or when we have to dress. Yeah, yeah, now these are the ones that come into my mind, but I'm sure there is another 10 different
Yeah.
thousands of them. It's everyday little things, like it's just, moving the day along and the routine, really.
Yeah. Thank you. So what was it that made the biggest difference for you? How are you able to finally like stop doing that?
Being a control freak and perfectionist, to me, the whole structure really helps. Like, I knew that there was this controller thing in me. Um, I knew there was this perfectionist kind of thing in me. But to really put them in perspective, have a system for them, a framework where they each have their own space, um, and that it's all logical and it's all from a beginning to an end, and everything is explained and everything just clicks. To me, that helps tremendously. I don't know. And just the complementary side of the whole process, that you have the logical kind of like the rational part of it, and also the emotional, the trauma, the healing, the talking, the emotions, and then you put it into practice, and then hopefully make it a habit every day. So just the whole, like I think it's a full package um, that kind of plays into the right areas of our brains and how we live and how we are.
Yeah. So you took full advantage of the Zen Supermom program, yeah, because indeed it has to be healing the childhood, so that even though it was happy childhood and no big traumas, but there was that part of you that never had the control and that were pushed to perfectionism. That's why you still show up with the perfectionism and control freak like today.
Mhm.
And then there's the brain science with the mental fitness. Yeah. So very good that you used it both and together to get the results. So 3-4 months later, how are you doing now, Supermom? What's different?
um, it's lighter. And I was thinking through how we started, and that's what I think I told you, that I just feel tense and heavy, and I want to feel, and that's what I don't feel like completely relaxed, of course, yet. I think I never will. But it's just lighter. It's just easier, and sometimes I'm surprised how easy it is if I am prepared and if I'm in control in a way of my own reactions, not how my child reacts and how the situation unfolds, but just kind of feeling in control of my own reactions and emotions, because I am prepared, and I can kind of expect in most of the cases when she will have a reaction that I wouldn't like. And of course just preempting lots of things in advance. So it's just lighter. And I feel like I can actually take it easy. It sounds so simple, but one of the days when I was taking my daughter from school, I knew she would be tired. I knew it was a long day, but because I prepared, because I told myself like, okay, she's probably gonna not like whatever I tell her. I said we go left, and she already cried because she wanted to go right. And I could just laugh. Like, of course, I wasn't laughing at her, but I just told her, like, oh my God, you're so tired. I'm so sorry. This must have been such a long day after holidays and whatever it was before. And it was like, it wasn't a fight. There wasn't pressure on any of us. She so easily, I don't want to use the word obeyed, but like she went along with what I proposed and with actually what I wanted. And I was like, oh my God, this is so easy. And it doesn't go all the time, every time like this, but there are so many more moments of this. And it wasn't the case before. So there's just a much more of ease overall.
Thank you for that specific example. It's very often what the result is. This is not about making like obedient unicorns out of our kids, right? But what you're saying is that once you do not make it personal, whatever your kids are going through, their emotions, you don't make it mean anything about you, that it's a sign that I'm not a good mom or my plan
Yeah.
just went out of the window. But instead of that, you are leading now with empathy, with compassion, and you put their feelings, like you take their feelings in consideration without making it mean anything about you. Then it's much easier to connect, and it's much easier to actually get done what needs to get done
Yeah,
without
yeah.
having to
To get
push them and
home
force.
only, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
because otherwise then there are the power struggles, right? Parents who want
Yeah,
to push it with the just the force because I'm the parent and I said so, then the kids are pushing back in ways that they can, and it's just like, ugh, nasty. So exactly what you're saying is that being prepared in advance, and you're doing a lot of that work, you're practicing still, that helps you stay present, stay tuned into what her needs are, and that makes it all go so much easier and
yeah.
lighter. So well done, super mom. And you're just coming out of like really few days of everybody lying in bed, so do you want to share a little bit about that? How was that different this time, being sick, like the whole family, you were telling me, right? Rather than
Yeah.
how would have that gone 3-4 months ago?
Oh boy, I don't know. Like it wasn't easy even like this, but it was actually quite okay. Like there was no fights for like until the last day. But even then it was just I think everybody was so tired and so fed up and so just yeah, just done with it. I was thinking throughout the days like yeah, I mean maybe because we don't have the energy to fight, but it was very smooth, really.
Fantastic, because this is usually, and now especially, is the time of the year when so many kids and then moms get sick. And I can remember, for me especially, it was always the worst, because when I couldn't sleep at night because my daughter was waking up so often, and it's just like, then the day was just it's terrible.
Yeah.
So being
Thankfully,
able
we
to
all
keep
needed
it.
a lot of sleep, so that was helpful. But yeah,
Yeah, very good, excellent. So what's next for you, Julia?
more sleep. Well, just a lot more practice. I mean, a lot more. It's yes, I said I'm ready to fly solo, but that's because yeah, I think I have the knowledge on a theoretical level and just need to make it practice and habit. And there is a lot still to work on within myself. Um, to yeah talk to the saboteurs and kind of practice more on how I separate and not separate them from myself. So I think a lot more practice never
Saboteurs,
stops, does
AK.
it?
Yeah. Saboteurs, aka the trauma voices in your head. So how Yulia was talking about the perfectionist and the controller or the judge. Yeah, indeed. So separating yourself from them, knowing like, I am not them. I can hear those voices in my head. I don't need to let them drive my life and make decisions and determine my reactions or triggers in the situations, but you can take your control back. And it is indeed like, hey, breaking news, it's a lifelong journey for everybody, not just
Yeah,
for Julia or for me. It is a lifelong journey because we grew up with that blueprint, being rewarded for growing up with a trauma. For you, it was controller, perfectionist. For me, it was hyperachiever as well. We were rewarded for that behavior by our parents. So how amazing is it that your children now are going to grow up trauma free? Because you are going to make them
hopefully.
feel loved
Yes.
unconditionally. You're not putting that old controlling perfectionist pressure on them, so they have much better chance of growing up like trauma free with a healthy self-confidence. So how does that feel, supermom?
And hopefully, I keep thinking about it like, what am I gonna do to screw them up? But hopefully, yeah, all
Don't
these
worry, we will
things
make other
help.
mistakes.
I really just hope that if they are free to express how they feel anytime, any moment, any circumstances, without, feeling like they're judged, or I don't know, like they're not supposed to do this, then I'm already like happy. And the rest we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And we will be making other mistakes as mom, and they will make their own mistakes as they're growing up. That's good. But at least, like, I'm proud that I stopped that generational, like, high speed train running over one generation of women to the
Yeah.
other, just like knocking down the self confidence and with the people pleaser. And you need to make everybody else happy, and you're lazy and selfish if you do anything for you or take rest. So, yeah, let's break that for them. Absolutely fantastic work. I'm curious, do you see anything else for yourself, like any other areas of your life that are impacted or changed by this healing work that you're doing as a mom? Because you came into the program to become a better mom and to stop this generational trauma for your kids. But do you notice any impact of what you're doing in other areas of your life, not just as a mom?
I mean, of course, yes, the whole thing on not landing all the time on my husband, quite great. Like there was actually a weekend when he said like, "What's happening? Like you're so cool." I'm like, "What do you mean? I'm always cool." No, but yeah, a couple of times he's like it's periods, of course, and it's not like a full-on constant. But he does notice is, as well that it's just, yes, calmer. Um, just his past couple of days, I've been, when going to sleep, so this is the area of sleep for me, which is always really difficult. I fall asleep it takes me a long time to fall asleep, very busy mind. And this other day I was starting my spiral again with all the thoughts. And I stopped and I said, "Hey guys, I know what you're doing." And I started talking to my lovely hyper-vigilant friend. And I fell asleep talking to it. And it happened twice. And it wasn't because I'm so tired, because I was getting plenty of sleep these last couple of days. It really just calmed me that I talked to it and I detached it in or caught it in the moment, red-handed. So it makes me also more easy to sleep, makes it more easy to sleep. And then I notice it in other moments when I'm getting stressed, like in the traffic, for example. Then I do PQ reps and I'm just, okay, no, it's not worth it. Doesn't make any sense to stress about it because I will not change it. The situation, I will not change it, can't control it. So these kind of small nuggets of stressful situations that are now calmer or don't bloom into something as big as it would have. Yeah, I think that's quite a good deal of things.
Wonderful. I bet like that
Yeah.
sounds like a dream scenario for all those moms who are listening there who are still getting triggered and all the emotions are getting even worse once that those stressful situations are ongoing. And just for anybody who was listening here, because we keep talking about like voices in your head, this is not that we have any split personality disorders or anything. If you think about it, you hear like sometimes nasty judging, controlling, perfecting, hyperachieving, hypervigilant voices in your head as well. That's completely normal. We all do. It's just that big part of mental fitness practice is recognizing it, and exactly as Julia was saying, not like kind of like detaching from it, like letting it go, but realizing you are not your thoughts. You are not the voices in your head. And by realizing they are not you, they are part of you, but they are not you, you can take your control back. And exactly what Julia said, the wonderful effect was that you're able to fall asleep much faster when you catch that hyper vigilant blah 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 here in your head. So congratulations. No sleeping pills needed. No medication
Yeah.
needed. Yeah. Isn't this the healthiest, more peaceful way to fall asleep? Just, helping yourself. So that's exactly why I was so happy to bring you on this podcast, because you're the proof. 3-4 months, your journey is not done, but you feel confident using all the tools that you got by yourself.
Yeah.
You're not in the need. You don't need any other one-on-one therapy sessions. You don't need any more months of any coaching. You are confident to just go and do it by yourself. So congratulations.
Well, thank you.
And thank you
It
so
feels
much for
good,
sharing.
yes.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing your story here, because this is one of the things that I hear the most often. Like, this is too good to be true. 3 months, it's not possible. Like, this is too fast. You're lying. So no, like, here you have another mom who shared, no AI puppets. This is a real story of a real mom who used to yell, especially when you were out of control, running out of time, bedtime routines and everything. And here you go, perfectly imperfect. She's doing it. So thank you so much, Julia. Thank you for sharing your story.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Do you feel there's anything else you would like to share that is important for anybody who's listening? Any final thoughts?
Mm, I think what you said, like, it's not too fast. I mean, if you're at the point of already considering it, I think you know the answer, whether you need it or not. It's a task. Like it's like gym, right? Like you need to put in the effort to get in what you need. And I really think that it is tough work. But it's not like you have to do sweat and blood for 3 months and then it's all done. No, you just absorb as much as you can, and then you go and try your best. And that's it. And that lasts forever, I think, that last part of trying your best. So let's see how I will go at it. Yeah, but I think it's a lot of effort, but it's worth it, really.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your story and inspiring other moms who needed to hear from you. They needed a real example. Thank you, Supermom.
Sure, thanks.
And I'm going to see you all in some other episodes. Take very good care. Why can't you stop yelling at your kids? And no, it's not the stress, lack of sleep, kids not listening, fighting, hitting, no support, time pressure, ADHD, hormones. No, moms around the world are doing it regardless. How? Join us for the upcoming Mommy Tantrum training and find out too.